In this video, I will show you 10 of my all-time favorite drum intros.
Art of Drumming is not just a YouTube channel, but also a free platform where you can find numerous drum-related courses filmed by major international artists. Head on over and join our growing community.
Hey, it's Andy here and welcome to the Art of Drumming YouTube channel. Now, for many songs there is either the vocal hook line or a guitar riff that is very characteristic and recognizable, but for others it's a drum intro. And so I've created this video to show you 10 of my all-time favorite drum intros. And let's get started with one of the classics. Benny Goodman's version of the song Sing 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 features none other than Gene Krupa on the drums, and his tom intro that he plays to the song is just outstanding and legendary. He also had a huge influence in what we see today as a drummer in the band and the role of the drummer in the band. So he was in the center of the big band, he played a drum solo. So I guess there is no better way to start a video off like this one, but with Gene Krupa and maybe one of the first legendary drum intros ever. Now, since we started off in the big band era, let's jump directly to the 80s. And what other song comes up in your head but Rosanna by Toto? With one of the most recognizable shuffle grooves, Jeff Porcaro really created a legendary drum part for this exact tune. And also, the song starts off just by a small fill, followed by his legendary Rosanna shuffle. So now, here's my version of the drum intro of Toto's song, Rosanna. While Rosanna was released in 1982, just a few years before, on Michael Jackson's album Off the Wall, you can hear John J.R. Robinson lay down one of the most recognizable drum fill intros ever made. So let's listen to this one now. Even though this intro is a lot shorter than the two ones before, you can recognize the song Rock With You by only the first 2 seconds. It's amazing how recognizable this little fill-in is. And I once had the chance to attend a clinic with J.R. Robinson himself, and he talked about the recording process and how he had to come up with a short fill intro in just a second. He came up with this fill-in, and now everyone knows it. So I can just highly encourage you to go to clinics, to visit those guys out there when they're on the road. Listen to the stories they have to tell. This can be a huge source for inspiration. But now, let's continue with the fourth one. Now, that was quite a jump from the late 70s, early 80s, straight to 2006, when Billy Talent released their second album, Billy Talent 2. And since I'm born in the 90s, I grew up with a lot of the rock music of the 2000s, so I was a huge Billy Talent fan back then. And on this album, the song Red Flag has this great bass drum snare intro section with just a lot of rough energy getting the song going, and this just stuck in my head for all the time. So this for sure is one of my personal favorite drum intros ever. But now let's go back in time, back to the 70s, and check out what Steve Gadd did back then. This once again is one of the classics, and when we're doing a list like this one, there's no way not to talk about 50 Ways to Leave Your Lover. The groove design by Steve Gadd is just outstanding, and I guess there is no other song that uses the same groove. If you know another song that uses this groove, let us know in the comments. I do not know one. So let's listen to the groove, and this groove is also the intro of the song that you can just recognize within a few seconds. Now I want to take you back to 2006, where we just came from, and talk about another album of the same year, Stadium Arcadium by the Red Hot Chili Peppers. While 50 Ways to Leave Your Lover has a pretty unique and a little more complex groove, Dani California features a very simple groove, but the way Chad Smith plays it, with the energy he lays into the groove, with his ghost notes, with the sound, it's just as recognizable as all the other intros in this video. So a simple groove, but played with the right sound, with the right attitude, can make a highly recognizable drum intro. So now here's my take on the intro of Red Hot Chili Peppers' Dani California. Now, since we looked at 2006 for a second time, let's also go back to 1975 for a second time and look at a second record of this year. And I picked Walk This Way by Aerosmith. In 1975 they released this song on their own, but it gained more and more popularity throughout the 80s when they did a mashup collaboration version with Run DMC. And also this song, and especially the groove, the beat of this song, is one of the groundbreaking records when it comes to talking about rap rock and the mashup of rock and hip hop. So let me stop talking now and just play this groove for you. I'm sure you all know it. This groove by Joey Kramer definitely is one of the most famous of all time. But the next one is a lot more simple and still even a lot more famous than the one we just heard. We Will Rock You by Queen. One of the maybe most famous rock songs of all time. And whenever this song comes up, and no matter where it comes up, everyone just goes like... So this drum groove, even though it's so simple, is so recognizable and characteristic for this song that it just gets you going, gets you moving, and you will recognize the song straight away when it starts playing. So sometimes it's not about creating very difficult figures, fill-ins that need all your technical abilities on the drum kit, but sometimes it's just about finding the right pattern for the right song and picking something that is so recognizable that everyone will just start moving and start clapping along or whatever. Hearing a whole stadium full of people clapping and stomping to this song just has to give you goosebumps. So with this very simple groove, let's continue with the next one, and we only have two left, so stay tuned for the last two ones. Let's get back to the 2000s to 2001. And for this one, I want to show you a drum intro by one of the most important drummers of this decade, Travis Barker. And with his band Blink-182, they're only a trio, so he has a lot of space in the arrangements, he has a lot of space to create very outstanding grooves, very unique grooves. He also came up with quite a few drum intros. For example, for the song I Miss You, or for this one I'm gonna show you now, First Date. Now I added the last one to also bring in the pop music of the last 10-20 years. And Umbrella by Rihanna has just a groove that is so recognizable that just after 1, 2, maybe 3 bars, you know what song it is, you can groove along to it, and also this one is a lot of fun to play. Now let me just play it for you quickly so that you have it in your head as well, and then I have a short little story for you about this drum groove. Now if you want to use this exact groove for your songwriting sessions, for your songs, for your productions, for your pre-productions, whatever, you can find the exact same groove as a loop in GarageBand. It's called Vintage Funk 3, and even though we all know this groove from Umbrella by Rihanna and it's a massive hit and we all know this exact drum loop, it's just a basic pre-installed loop with GarageBand. So go to GarageBand, check it out, you will find this groove there. Now those were just 10 of my personal favorite drum intros. And of course there are so many more amazing drum intros out there. Bands like Led Zeppelin, with John Bonham maybe the master of creating drum intros. U2, Imagine Dragons, Foo Fighters, they all have great drum intros. And we should maybe do a second, third, fourth, fifth part of this video. Now, I'd be happy to know about your favorite drum intros. Let us know about your favorites in the comments. We will look through those, we will use them to come up with a second part of this video if you want us to do a second part. And then make sure to subscribe to our channel to keep up to date with our newest releases.